Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. And in this video, I'm going to talk about being back. Back from where? Well, back from everything I've been doing. It's been a couple of weeks since I've uploaded a video, mainly because of the holidays, but also because of a bunch of other stuff I'll talk about in a moment. And then also, I want to loop you in on everything I would like to do this year, because I'm planning a big, exciting 2025. There's loads of personal goals I would really like to achieve. But I'm pretty bad sometimes at communicating those things. I think if I had like a failure in 2024, is my inability to communicate. I made loads of content, loads and loads of different types of videos, loads of live streams, loads of recorded stuff, and I'm really happy with what I made. But I don't think I necessarily was great in communicating about those things. They would just pop up on your feed. And I think I'd like to change that up a little bit. I'd like to let you know what I'm planning on doing, get you involved, do polls, a bunch of other stuff, generally be better at what I do. And I think probably that should be everyone's goal. Every year, try to do better stuff than they did the year before, which is what I'm hoping to do. That's because I'd like to hit certain goals. I'd like to make much better content. And I'm hoping making much better content is going to lead to more people subscribing, more people watching, all those normal things that people want to do when they're trying to get better at their job. Let's talk about where I've been, though. So ever since Christmas, which I think is the last time I did a live stream, I have been running events. I took about a day off, and then I was running events here at the TSN Arena in Nottingham. If you don't know, I run a venue in Nottingham as well. It's where I make all my videos, which is cool. I do events almost every weekend, pretty much every weekend. And in 2025, my goal is to run an event every weekend. This does mean that my work week is about 7 days, but I don't mind that because I'm working towards a goal, like I said. Eventually, maybe owning a venue. That seems like a crazy plan. Right now, probably not possible, but that would be something I'd love to do. And I think I've got to prove that I can make events that people want to go to, that they want to keep going to. I think give it as kind of like a friendly local gaming store, but one you can travel from anywhere in the world to go to. So over the Christmas period, knowing that some people want time away or some people don't have anyone, I ran an event from the day after Boxing Day here. So that's the 27th, all the way up until New Year's Eve. We had multiple one-dayers between Age of Sigmar and the Old World, sometimes running both systems at the same time. And generally, it was an amazing experience with loads of really kind of heartfelt moments. We had kids playing against each other, becoming the best kid at the event, which is sweet. People just taking some time off from their life and just having a fun time rolling around with their miniatures. And I really, really enjoyed that. But I really missed making videos as well. And I'm super happy to be back. So let's talk about the stuff that I'm going to be making. But before we do that, let's talk about the stuff I've already been making, or the stuff that I do regularly, which some of you might not know about. And I'd like to just loop you in so that if you want to join the stream or if you want to watch some of those videos, then you can. One of my goals in trying to communicate better is I've made a new schedule for my streams. During lockdown, I streamed every single day for about 500 days, which was cool. I now take weekends off, and that's because I run events, but I still stream Monday through to Friday. I've given a bit more clarity on what I'm going to be streaming and covering over the course of a week, with Monday being the Age of Sigmar Stat Center, Tuesday being painting. Now, painting is going to be a really big one for me because I'd like to become a better painter over the course of the next year. That's one of my goals for 2025. And so what I decided to do was put that in a stream and make that part of a process that I would do every single Tuesday. We're also going to correlate this with doing hobby goals. So I'm going to make things on Discord and Patreon where you can be a part of trying to make the best mini of a certain type over the course of a month. And then we're going to do some prizes at the end. It's going to be super fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And hobbying is an important aspect of gaming. And even though I consider myself to be a competitive gamer and I make content about competitive gaming, I would like to think of myself as an omni gamer where I do enjoy the lore and I do enjoy the hobby. Never been particularly great at it. So here's my mission to try harder. Wednesday, we're going to be doing the Square Base show, which is going to be really fun. I love doing the Old World show, and hopefully I'm going to find some more time to make even more Old World content in the future. Thursday, I'm going to be doing tier lists, and there are literally tons to do when it comes to tier lists. Obviously, I could be really serious and make sure it's always what's the best unit and who's the best this. But sometimes it might be about toes or the Conquer cheating scandal. It could be anything. But Thursdays will be fun, and I'm really looking forward to that. Fridays are going to be lore streams, and that is a little bit different to maybe how other people do it. I don't really know. What we did last year is we did a Cities of Sigmar lore review, but that took a couple of weeks to do because what we would do is we would just read through the book live on air. I really like this process because it becomes like a collaborative conversation. Instead of a book club where you'll get together at the end, having read it, you'll read it together and you pick up on little nuances in the lore and then you break it down. And I think we ended up making a really good video. And the comments kind of agreed, which was nice. It was nice seeing something that I just tried for a little bit work really, really well. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. So I'd like to commit to it more. Mainly also on like a personal note, I want to know more about the lore. I want to know more about what's going on and what brings the miniatures I see on the tabletop to life and how the story brings it to life. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that'll be a fun thing to do. I'm also adding a new stream to the schedule, which is fun. On Monday nights, I'm going to be streaming playing games, playing computer games. I was mainly thinking Total War. One of the things I'd like to do maybe is play competitive online Total War every Monday. That's probably an unrealistic goal because they're much better than I am. And I don't know if you've ever played Total War. So maybe it'll just end up being campaigns, but it's a way of doing something that's quite chill in the background while I'm just talking to the chat and making it a bit more relaxed and comfortable. I'm also committing to making a video every week on Patreon as well. Initially, this is going to be kind of a talking head piece, a bit like this video, where I break down some stuff maybe that happened at the weekend at an event or some ongoing stuff with what's happening with one of the game systems. But over time, I'd also like to expand that to what I'm going to try and do, which is showcase and record games from my events. I tried to do this last year, but I just couldn't find the time to do the editing. So I've moved my schedule around to try to give myself a couple of half days to try and edit down these games. So what will happen at a weekend is either someone will play a game and I'll record those games, or I myself will play in games and record them. Then I'll edit them together and I'll try and put them up on Patreon and maybe even on YouTube. The reason for that is I think that there's a really nice format for breaking down how games play in a relatable bat rep experience. I did this once before in a kind of test video called Tabletop in 10 Minutes, which I'm going to try and recreate and put these out once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I'm going to start slow, but the goal of this is to make it so that people really enjoy that content. And hopefully this will increase how much I'm able to make. The reason this is super important is because once I get an editor, I can make more content, and then making more content because the editor's doing the editing part, which is a part that does slow me down quite a lot. It does really feel like the dream of making battle reports from events that I run or play in at the weekend and then making that something you can all watch through the week is kind of a goal I've been working towards for several years. If you've been a long-time fan of mine, you know that I've traveled around the world live streaming different tournaments, including things like the Age of Sigmar World Championships, but I was never able to get quite the content that I wanted out of that. And so I'm hoping this is a better way of giving you that tournament live stream feel while also getting you a really high quality piece of content. So that's kind of the goal in the future. I'm looking forward to it. And that's the major thing I'm going to try and add to what I bring in the future. My other goal is to start selling terrain. This is a really exciting project that I've been working on for maybe 2 years now. If you've been a long-time fan and watching for a while, you'll see. So we make objective markers, which people obviously use in their games. And we use objective tokens, which also people use for command points and stuff like that. Little 3-inch gauges and 9-inch sticks and a bunch of stuff, the peripheral stuff that you always need to play games. But as a tournament organizer and as someone who runs a venue, having terrain that you can play on that's really good has actually been an almost impossible challenge, both for Age of Sigmar and the old world, especially if, like me, you want the terrain to look really nice. I'm someone who likes the boards to look super nice, and I think also, if I'm being honest, it's one of the USPs of playing at my events. When you come to my event, you get a big comfy chair, you get a nice table that's quite a nice height, and hopefully the terrain is really nice, although it's been painted by me. But I've got to say, it's really difficult to find exactly the sort of terrain that you need, especially thematic terrain, if you're wanting to play things like Age of Sigmar or the old world. Thankfully, working with a sculptor, I've been able to get exactly the sort of files and exactly the sort of terrain that I want in the future to be able to make very playable, but very nice looking terrain. And while I'm not quite ready to show you that yet, although if you have watched my streams, you'll have seen me showcasing some of them before, I'm very excited about showing you those when we are finally able to do them. Because functional terrain does not have to be ugly terrain. And I think also as time goes on, I want to know more about the lore. I want to know more about painting, but I want to know more about how to make the perfect setting for playing a competitive game of whatever game system you could think. Sometimes people think that those things aren't linked. Like, a competitive game is like, barely painted minis on some flat board, but I don't think that needs to be the case. I think it's going to be a battle. It could be a really nice looking battle. And that's one of my goals for this year. And I'm really excited because it also means people are going to be able to buy them or maybe print them, whatever format we decide to eventually put it out. And they also can have those same experiences on their tables, which I think is something that's a little bit lacking in the wargaming community at the moment, or at least in my opinion, as someone who needs to get terrain for venues and tries to do that. So those are my goals, 2025. Very few goals, really. Very consistent stream schedule, loads and loads of content out on YouTube. Then obviously run events every single weekend, make videos from those events and make battle reports. Then hopefully bring you a bunch of terrain that you can get and really kind of inspire people along that route. Feels like a pretty solid 2025 for my goals. And then hopefully leading towards the end of 2025, hire an editor, get that working, and hopefully start making even more content in the future. I hope that you want to join me on this journey. And I'm kind of telling you all this, maybe to hold myself to account more than, to let you know. I really want this to be something that's super successful and I can work really hard at. And so if there's something you think I'm doing, this is your opportunity to tell me. I'm not someone who's very shy about criticism. I'm super happy to hear it. And if there's something I could do that's better or is more worthwhile, then please let me know. But do remember that in my opinion, the way to really showcase to me that you would like to help support me is to join something like Patreon. That way I can really, subscribing helps, watching videos helps. But ultimately, you don't make a lot from YouTube ad revenue, or at least I don't, because I make very niche content, right? I made one painting tutorial with nearly 1 million views, slap chop. But then apart from that, it's is the big war Army of Renown any good? It's a much smaller percentage of people who really want to engage in that content. That's not a small amount of people. Some of those videos have had 10, 20, close to 30,000 views, which means in some cases there's 10, 20, 30,000 people of you out there. And if you'd like to help support me making content like that, then Patreon's easily the best way to support me. In fact, actually, maybe, that's what I should be saying. I should be saying 2025, my goals are to do all these things, and I'd love your help to support me doing that. Because I'm going to run polls and do a bunch of stuff on Patreon, but ultimately, that's going to help me excel. I want to, say I want to work really hard at what I do. I want to make really good stuff. And the only way I can really do that is with support. So I'm super excited about that. If you don't end up supporting me, then fine. That's okay. I'm still going to plow on with what I plan on doing. But I'm hoping this inspires a few people to join me on this journey, or maybe even start your own journey of what you'd like to achieve in 2025. I know doing goals is a bit lame and cliche, but I'm excited about it. And I think there's going to be some really fun stuff. I'm really excited about the hobby. I'm really excited about hobbying, as in painting minis and building minis. I'm really excited about gaming. So I've booked in to play at least one event a month at my own events. So I've hired someone to run my event for me so I can play in my own event, and that way get even more experience playing the game as well. So I'm trying to become this person that lives and breathes what the kind of community is and what it all does, and be that person who's super committed to the process as well as the end result, which I think is playing a game. So anyway, this has just been a long rambly video saying I'm back. Join me for the streams on Twitch. It's always Monday to Friday. Then Monday nights are going to be special and fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And thanks for listening to me ramble about, whatever. But I hope you have a great 2025. I hope you have all the goals and dreams that you're aiming for fulfilled. And I want to say thanks for joining me on the journey so far. And I'm looking forward to the future. Thanks very much. See you soon.